Hi guys! Today we are doing another tutorial. This one is going to be really cool though. What I'm actually going to do is something like this. I found this picture on Pinterest and I thought it was the cutest thing. So I thought I would make it. I have a friend who's going to have a baby in the next little while, and I thought this would be such a good idea. So basically the idea is that it's like a tube, like a really long hat is how I'm going to interpret it, and then a little hat with some little extras crocheted on it. So you can see it's a take on the Very Hungry Caterpillar, and I'm going to use that picture as kind of a inspiration for my versions. For the body portion of the caterpillar, I have some mixed greens. So 2 variegated greens and 2 solid greens, and I'm going to be using those. I'm also going to incorporate a little bit of the yellow in there just to make it extra fun. And for today's project, you're going to need some knitting looms. So this here is a circle loom for knitting. I'm going to be using 2 sizes. I'm going to be using this very small size for the hat portion, because it's for a newborn, and then for the cocoon portion I'm going to be using the adult hat size. It's just going to be much longer. I'm going to link to this in the description below where you can get these guys. I picked them up at Michael's, but I will give you a link. I'm also going to be using, obviously, some scissors, and I'm also going to use the knitting loom hook. I just got a new one, that's why the plastic is still on it, because the one that came with the original package is flawed. So you will need that, and I do have this super cute crochet storage organizer. I will link to that in the description as well because I think it's super helpful, and because it was a fellow Ontario maker who made it. So I'm going to get started. For the first bit, it's going to also be a little bit of a tutorial on loom knitting. So that will be kind of, you'll get 2 birds with 1 stone. So for the top portion, it's going to be the darker colors. So I'm going to go with this green and this green for that first bottom bit. And then I will incorporate some of the other colors. I'm also actually, I think I'll do this one throughout the entire project just because I have so much of it. And I'll do 3 pieces of yarn to make it nice and chunky, because 2 pieces won't make it quite as chunky as I want it to be. And the first thing that you're going to want to do when you are loom knitting is actually super similar to the beginning of a crochet. You need a slip knot. So for a slip knot, like we've been doing in all of our other tutorials, I make a little loop. This time I'm doing it with 3 pieces of yarn at a time though. Cross over, and then with my fingers in that loop, but holding onto that tail end, I'm going to pull it nice and tight and make a nice tight loop like that. And that first loop, hold on there, that first loop is going to go on the little extra peg that is on the outside of the loom. And what I'm actually going to do is put that whole bit of string in through the loom, and then put that loop on that peg, just like that. And that way we're working starting this way. So the first stitch, I do like to make the first stitch also a slip knot, just so that it's extra secure. And for that, I'll show you again. I did it without explaining. I like to make a cross. It's the same thing, except now one side is attached. And then we'll just pull through that loop that I just made there. And then I pull this piece down nice and far so that the loop is very big, and then I pull that initial piece of yarn. There we go. Just like this. Oops, I put it on the wrong peg. I've been explaining so well that I didn't start on my first peg. So there we go. I like to start on the peg right next to that securing peg. So there, now we've got that secure loop wrapped around your peg there, and then we've got our first stitch here. How to use a circle loom. So the first row of a circle loom, you're just going to wrap around the peg 1 time, just like that. Wrap around, and you go all the way around this circle, wrapping around like this, and then you go all the way around this circle, wrapping around like this, and then you go all the way around this circle, wrapping around like this, and then you go all the way around like this, wrapping around like this, and then you go all the way around like this, wrapping 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 around like this, wrapp Okay, so now we're back to the beginning. What we're going to do for the second row, so we're not even engaging with that tool yet, we're just working on the loom at this point. For the second row, we're doing the exact same thing. We're just gonna wrap all the way around until we're back at the beginning, and we want 2 little wraps on each peg. Okay, so now we're back at the beginning. What I like to do is wrap around that initial peg and then pull the yarn in just so you have something to hold it with. And then you take your little knitting loom tool, you grab the first loop that you made, and you pull it over the second loop, just like that. So you grab the loop, pull it over the second loop, and you just go all the way around, pulling that first loop over the second loop like that. Okay, and then when we're back at the beginning, just like to pull that back there, finish with your last loop, like that. And then what we're going to do is just complete the exact same thing again. So we're wrapping around each peg, just a quick wrap around like that. All the way around. And what I like to do as I'm wrapping them, I will pull the previous stitch as low down close to the loom as I can. It gives a lot more room, so you can see me with my fingers doing it as I come up to it. Gives you a lot more room to do your wraparounds. Alright, and then we're back at the beginning, so I wrap around that initial peg, and then taking my little loom tool, loom knitting tool, I pull the loop from the previous row over top of the loop from the new row. And just go all the way around your loom. So I'm going to do that exact thing 10 more times, or sorry, 9 more times, for a total of 12 rows with this pattern. When you finish your 12 rows, so you can pause the video here, when you finish your 12 rows, come back and I will show you A, what it starts to look like, and B, what we're going to do to switch up the colors at that point.